Anti-hero, a central character who lacks conventional heroic attributes. The character of Macbeth, as presented in the play, is a complex and progressive one. He is seen as both a hero and a villain. As the plot develops, his good qualities fade and his evil qualities become more and more evident. Macbeth goes from good to bad and from bad to worse. He is the ultimate anti-hero. Characteristics of an anti-hero may include imperfections that separate them from typically heroic characters, like selfishness and ignorance. Qualities normally belonging to villains, like greed and violent tendencies, that may be tempered with more human identifiable traits, like confusion and self-hatred. Possibly noble but ambiguous motives pursued by the belief that the ends justify the means. Macbeth, which begins on the upside after a climatic battle, is focused on the downside and is all about Macbeth's corruption and guilt. Although in the end Macbeth will be a broken man, he is introduced in the play as a warrior hero, whose fame on the battlefield wins him great honor from the king. He lives in a castle with his wife and is definitely of a high social status. Macbeth's downfall may, arguably, be blamed on the witches. By telling Macbeth his fate, they play on his ambitious nature and create a strong-minded character that would do anything to fulfill his prophecy. Thus, his path to corruption has begun. Macbeth believes the witches, and from then on in the play has his mind set on becoming king and will overcome any obstacle which gets in his way. The witches prey on Macbeth's initial innocent mind and cause him, in the end, to lose this previous innocence and become a killer. The anti-hero gives in to temptation and goes down the ladder. Macbeth murdered his own king, Banquo and his sons, Lady Macduff and her children, all because of his brutal ambition. He starts losing his human characteristics as the play progresses. Act 4 is the turning point for Macbeth. In the beginning, the very thought of murder frightens Macbeth. However, at this point in the play, he has become so cruel that he doesn't even need to think twice about murdering his best friend. Macbeth is transformed into a new anti-hero and is drawn to the dark side. New dark forces are awakened, and the hero's progress is reversed. Where there was strength, there is now weakness. Where there was a superhero, there is now a tyrant. Where the hero's humanity was being awakened, the anti-hero's humanity is being shut down. His generosity has become uncontrolled greed. His compassion has become hatred and loathing. The goal of the anti-hero is to fulfill its own desires and needs, which is to accumulate everything it needs in able to satisfy its insatiable cravings for objects, security, wealth, and territory. In modern terms, we're talking about money, sex, and power. Like their Shakespearean predecessor, many iconic anti-heroes are not simply bad, mischievous, or distasteful. Former chemistry teacher turned murderous drug kingpin in the American television drama series Breaking Bad and Macbeth are very alike in the sense that they're both anti-heroes that were previously heroes. They both knew right from wrong and good from bad, but eventually lost all empathy during their ruthless mission to alter their fate. Besides Walter, another classic example of an exemplary anti-hero is Darth Vader, father of the dark side. In the Star Wars saga, Darth Vader starts out on the upside as a Jedi, a young hero aligned with the Force. But then he defects to the dark side, becomes an anti-hero, and helps bring about the state of tyranny. Another greatly influential anti-hero who goes down the ladder is Michael Corleone from The Godfather Part 2. Originally wanting a crime-free life as a politician, he ends up embracing his darker calling when attempting to assassinate his father. Now you may wonder, what is it about these remarkably villainous characters that we love so much? Or are girls just doomed to fall for bad boys? Here are a few reasons. Number 1. They're flawed just like we are. Part of the attraction to evil characters is when we see others suffering, we shift the focus away from ourselves. We don't feel as alone because other people feel pain too. Number 2. We can relate. Although Macbeth may not be the most relatable character, there are certain aspects of him that we can understand, like his insecurity and self-doubt in the beginning of the play and his constant need to be in control. Number 3. They're strong. Like the hero, the anti-hero is also strong, even if he doesn't have the same moral grounding. He's determined, not letting anything get in his way, which is usually what leads him to take the immoral path. We respect the anti-hero because he demands respect. In conclusion, the anti-hero has so much capacity as a character, and that's why good anti-heroes continue to steal the show from heroes. We're sick of heroes. They're two-dimensional and unrealistic. Anti-heroes chill us, haunt us, and are just as crazy as we are. That is so much more powerful.